The IJC has been involved in science-based decision-making and recommendations for well over 100 years to provide the U.S. and Canadian governments with recommendations about where we have gaps in scientific information to inform decision-making, specifically throughout the Great Lakes region.
We've been focused on understanding the damage that has been done to the system and addressing those damages.
The last 10 years has been about the past. It's led us to say, what about the future?
Freshwater ecosystems are among the most vulnerable on the planet to changes in climate because the hydrology is so climate dependent. And the Great Lakes are no exception. They're more sensitive to climate than the ocean.
Our predictive capabilities need to advance. We can't remain stationary in terms of our understanding of these dynamic systems. If we do that, we're introducing new risk into the equation.
The Decadal Science Plan for the Great Lakes brings together agencies and entities and institutions from across all of the sectors. Fisheries, the water quality, the economy, all of those elements come together.
The science plan would bring together interdisciplinary teams. It would create centers of excellence with folks who are working in the US, in Canada, on tribal lands. It would create a fully complementary and co-scientific team that to present has not existed.
Now we're starting to think about what the need is to make sure that our science vessel capacity, our workforce is robust enough to allow us to respond to any future challenges.
In order to predict the future, you have to have a model of the system. And that model has to contain all of the relevant dynamics and understanding of what drives the system and how they interact.
The more we do to advance our scientific understanding of these systems and our predictive ability to actually get out and forecast bad, ill effects, that has the potential to really save human lives.
The types of models that will be developed are much like weather forecasting models that allow us to understand future implications of changing climates, changing demographies, changing populations on the Great Lakes. Think about where we would be without those. You know, the entire global economies depend on weather forecasting models.
We are moving beyond the rearview mirror of correcting the sins of the past and starting to position ourselves in a much more proactive stance. Therefore, that we could see the stressors on the horizon, get out in front of some of the big concerns that perhaps are already knocking at the doorstep, but maybe we're not monitoring. We can't manage what we don't monitor.
We know that climate change is changing the nature of how animals, plants, even agriculture works in the region. We don't know the workings of it deep enough to inform practitioners, to inform policymakers as to whether the policies and the programs that they're putting in place for the Great Lakes will really address the root cause of threats to the integrity of the Great Lakes.
Decadal Science Plan not only brings us up to where we should be to do 21st century science in an ecosystem context, but it also is forward-looking in that it will advance our ability to do the kinds of things that will help us set 25, 50 years into the future.
If we do the 10-year strategy well, it'll be more than a 10-year strategy. We'll have proven how science can improve the sustainability of the region. And by that, I mean economic wealth, cultural health, social well-being, as well as environmental quality.
This is about setting a path for success to make sure that the water quality of this region is entrusted and protected for future generations.